Hey everyone, and welcome to the next lesson in this series on AWS fundamentals. So today I'm going to be teaching you about EC2 instance types. All right, so let's get started. So first of all, you want to head over to Amazon EC2 here. Okay, so let's just wait for that to open up. And what we're going to do is we're just going to evaluate all the types of instances that we get. Now, we did check this last time in the previous videos, but I just want to go in a bit more detail with you. So if you recall, we went to launch instances here, and we simply scroll down, and you were able to see the types of instances that we get here. So for example, you would have a T2 Nano here, which is the smallest, going all the way to the largest one, which is a Z1D metal. Okay. So these are the types of instances that we get. So in other words, we can have, we can choose to create a small virtual server or a large virtual server, which we call in AWS, we call virtual servers instances. So in other words, we will call it an EC2 instance. Now there is a very helpful page that you can go to here on the Amazon website. Don't worry, I will attach a link in the description below for you to check this out. So as we can see here, we have different Amazon EC2 instance types, but the great thing about this page here is that it breaks it up into different sections. So which type of instances would be appropriate for which type of use case? So let's take a look here. So general purpose, okay, so the first one that we get is general purpose. So this is suitable if we want to go ahead and create a simple EC2 instance that's going to be based on testing or a very small application. It's also very suitable if we don't know really the sizing of our EC2 instance in terms of how much compute, memory, and networking resources that we need. So this would be very appropriate if you're going ahead to develop a simple web application or one of a medium size. So we can see here what would be appropriate for that. So we would have the Mac family here, T4G, and the one that we'll recognize will include the T3 instances and the T2 instances. So the T2 family instance, we are currently using the T2 Micro because this is the one that is in the free tier. We are eligible to utilize this T2 Micro here. So as you can see, this would be suitable for general purpose. All right, so you can have a look here. So general purpose is pretty much a balanced category for EC2 instance types. Then we get something called compute optimized. So compute optimized is pretty much for workloads where we do batch processing and media transcoding or any type of high performance server. Now you'll see here, this is basically based on the C family in terms of EC2 instances, as you can see here, ranging all the way to 64 vCPU with 128 gigs. So you can see this would be overkill for a simple web application that we would build. As we can see here, this is for very intensive workloads. Right, then we get something called memory optimized. Okay, so this one is very helpful for databases, okay, or those applications where you're utilizing a cache. So we can see here, this would process large data sets in memory. And we would go all the way here to the Z1D. As we saw, the Z1D is extremely powerful, ranging from a vPCPU of 48 all the way to memory, which is 384 gig. All right, so this is quite an extreme example here of performance. Then we also have something called accelerated computing, which is rather new. So this is for any type of hardware accelerators. If we need to perform some graphics processing or data pattern matching or anything like that, we would utilize accelerated computing. Right, storage optimized is also another good use case if we are very dependent on databases and such. Also with caching as well. So a really great thing about the storage optimized instances is the ability to deliver tens of thousands of low latency operations per second. So generally this will utilize IOPS, okay? And we can see here just a little bit of the test cases here and the use cases of what will be required here. So not as powerful as the Z1 EC2 instance, but still pretty powerful. Okay. And then we can just see a little bit about our instance features and the great things that we get with each EC2 instance type according to its category. So I just want to make it clear here. So everything here on the left, okay, these are categories for our EC2 instance types. Now, if we go to each category, we'll have an instance type. So these are our instance types. And this here on the left is our instance category. So I just want to clarify that and make it a bit clearer for you. Now, I know this isn't necessarily particularly helpful for you, but it is important when you're learning AWS, especially for the first time, that you have a background on a lot of things. Some things might not seem as important and pertinent, but it's good to have a good context and background over a variety of things. So if you ever are in a situation where you're unsure about something, you at least have some context. Okay, so basically that's it. So that's all I wanted to really discuss today. So very brief and straightforward here. So just exploring the types of instance types we get. So be sure to check out these instance categories here, and be sure to check each one. And if you scroll down, you'll be able to see a use case. So be sure to check all the use cases here for what each of these instance categories offer. So from general purpose to compute optimized, memory optimized. And you know, this is also very helpful if you have an idea that of a project that you want to make later in the future. So as you're learning AWS, you at least can refer to this later. So if you have a project in the future, you can come back here, have a look, and just get a general feel for what the appropriate use case would be, you know, according to the instance category. Then you can just simply go to the category and then look at the instance types that it offers, so you at least have some general idea of what is expected for you. So for example, here under accelerated computing, if your use case was related to Android game streaming, machine learning, graphics, rendering, or anything, you would know, okay, I need to look into the accelerated computing instance category. So you can have a look here, and you know, it's a lot easier and simpler for you to just have a look here and have a good sort of sense of things. Okay. So that's all I wanted to say. So I hope this was helpful to you and gave you some insight. So in the future, if you're designing a project, you can always look at this page here for reference. So at least you have some idea of the possible use case if you're struggling to choose which EC2 instance type in the future that you want to use, if you are planning on developing an application that is going to be a real world and one that will be in production at some point. So do bear this in mind. And don't worry, I will be sure to attach this link in the description below, so you can just simply go ahead and read more about this and yeah, go from there. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you so much.